Well, the drug has gripped communities across West Africa. Our Africa correspondent, Yusa El Bagir, has spoken to some at the centre of the crisis in Sierra Leone. And a warning, a report shows people suffering from malnutrition, which you may find distressing.
All right, guys. So listen, if you're following me for the first time, again, this is the Ibrahim Fauna Talk Show, Saving Africa Uncensored. I saw a reporting by some of our brothers back home in Sierra Leone on a channel called We Yard, and they reported how some Liberian border agents, and I'll show you the video, you'll see it. But before I even show you that video, I want to walk you through what's actually happening here, because some Liberian border agents, found a bus that was loaded, that was coming from Guinea-Conakry, passed through Liberia, going to Sierra Leone, heading for Sierra Leone. And on this bus, you'll see how there's a huge beehive, it's a swamp of bees, packed into the load, mysteriously. But before I even go into all of that, I just want you all to know that there's been, reporting about, the drug epidemic across West Africa. And that's something you guys know about if you've been following the news. The drug dealings that is going on between Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea. The other day there was containers, found with cocaine going through, from Sierra Leone to Nigeria. All of that nonsense that has been happening. So what you're seeing on my screen is a beehive. So before I even show you the bus that was caught in the Liberian border with the beehive, I want to show you guys something, because something interesting is coming out of this. And Africa, everything people believe it's, it has to do with some voodoo magic or some, a medicine man somewhere has something to do with that, controlling these bees. There is a science behind beehives and swarms of bees. There's a science, it has nothing to do with people using magical means to control these bees. So that is why I want to play this video first, so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, and then we'll take it from there. So listen to this.
Looking for locally adapted bees to populate a new hive, or just the most economical option for obtaining bees, joining a swarm list like beeallies.com and catching your own will be the best way to go. To learn more about what a swarm is and why we love populating our hives with them, please check out our How to Get Bees video. First and foremost, you'll want to make sure you have all of the essential equipment ready to go at a moment's notice. When swarm season hits, we are rarely without gear in our vehicles. With the rise in popularity of beekeeping, swarm catching has become somewhat competitive. Fast responders will have the most success in this venture. Our essential swarm catching toolkits include a breathable wooden or cardboard box or nuke, a light-colored bedsheet or tarp, a bee brush, pruning shears, lemongrass oil, protective gear, and, if possible, a ladder or stool. When you first arrive at the site, determine whether it's safe to get the bees. If the cluster is within arm's reach of ground level, don't hesitate. If the cluster is positioned high up, use your best judgment to determine if you're able to safely catch the bees in the box and come back down the ladder. The allure of free bees can easily influence you to push your limits. There are other swarms out there, and none are worth risking your life for. Once you've donned your protective gear, lay a sheet out under the swarm and place your box on top of it. Move as much of the swarm into the box as you can.
I'm going to come back to this video, guys. But what I want to do, I just wanted you to see that first of all. So this would allay your fears, and you'll be able to understand exactly the point I'm about to make to you guys once I show you the video of the bus that was loaded from Guinea-Conakry through Liberia going to Sierra Leone, heading for Sierra Leone. And they saw this beehive, thing, that got caught up, in the load, because the bus was heavily loaded, with these, with these bees. So I want to show that to you. I want you guys to see that for yourselves, so you guys can have an understanding of exactly what I'm talking about. But you've seen that you can catch bees. You can get rid of these bees. If you see a swamp of bees, you just have to be able to know what to do. Protect yourself and get rid of these bees. But let's listen to our brother. This is their channel here. Again, like I said, it's from Sierra Leone. It's a YouTube channel called We Yard. WIYRD, and you'll see it here in a second. So this is their channel, We Yard, and they showed this video. So I wanted to let you guys know what is actually happening. And I gave you guys context, right? Because I want you all to understand, and you will see what I'm saying. So I'm going to play a little bit of this video so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, and then we'll take it from there. But listen to this finding, that
Lopez here, and if
was
you're thinking about
found,
getting a consolidation
from
loan to
this
combine
border agents in Liberia. All right, so we're gonna watch this together. I'm gonna let you guys see this together. I'm gonna lay the spade work for you, but I want you to see this first.
But we are get interest for this business for all my I don't see first. Oh, now wait till I see something. Hey.
And by the way, they're speaking Creole, so some of our brothers in Liberia would understand this. Guinea, not so much, but I want you guys to see this right there. What the cursor is going through, what is pointing, where the cursor is pointing right there. That's the beehive. It's a swarm of bees that was put there. We don't know what these bees are put there for, who put them there, but we know in Africa they would believe that this is some magical thing to protect a certain type of load. We don't know what the load is. I don't know if it is all drugs, because there's a lot of drug activity within that region in West Africa right now that needs to be curtailed, that needs to be stopped by the powers that be. And the U.S. has to play a role in that as well to support, these people from protecting our people from the harm that these drugs are causing. But let us go ahead, and I want these brothers to start playing the video. And by the way, that's Aliu and Sengbe Pierre and by Bre. That's their channel we are, and that's Brother Arthur there with them to analyze this whole thing. All right.
This honeybee on a vehicle. This is the honeybee, the black area that you see on that web bed. It is the honeybee out there. You see? This is the honeybee. As you can see. They form it around. So they come to Bowater Port of entrance in Grand Cayman County. I think you're seeing the honeybee clear now. You see? A honeybee on a vehicle, a bus came from Guinea. You see the bus? I think you can see from distance there. So the small cycle, the small black one on that white bag. This is the bus that came from Guinea. See, they came along with a honeybee. You see the vehicle? This is the bus that came off.
So, what you're seeing there is the honeybee, the beehive itself that was put there. And these border agents, everybody's confused. Nobody knows what to do to get rid of those bees. And you'll see here as we go further in the video that you'll see that the guys were actually trying to use a catapult, stuff to fight off the bees. So they were using like a catapult, using a stone like a sling, to disperse the bees. Because again, Africa, the knowledge is not there. We don't have professional beehives, people that are not using, well, I wouldn't say we don't have professionals, but it is not organized system to where if they find themselves in a situation like that, where they have like a beehive that has swarmed a certain area, they don't have like professional agents or agencies or people that is what they do. That is how they make their honeybees and stuff like that to come and get rid of the beehive, right? So these guys don't know what to do to get rid of those bees. So this is what they were doing. Let me show you the guys this before I get to it.
They want to check the vehicle. They are trying to scatter the honeybee, but they cannot go. You see? Trying to chakra it. You see the security using a rubber gun to chakra it, but still, it cannot go. Look at it. It's still roaming around the bus. It's still roaming around the bus. You see the security? The DEA security already fighting to remove it. You see the joint security? They are using rubber gun to scatter the honeybee from on the vehicle so it can be checked. But still roaming around the car. You see? It's not easy. It's not easy.
All right. So That's the bee situation. But for you guys to understand, and I would let my brother Athor say a few words here real quick as to what people believe, because the guy that you saw with the sling, that's the DEA agent, drug enforcement agent, right? Because again, they are searching all of these buses and trucks that are coming through, Liberia. So the Liberian agents, of course, this bus came through and they stopped it and they wanted to search those loads so they can search and make sure there's no illicit substance coming through the borders. And the DEA agents encountered the swarm. And what you need to know that the load, of course, was also covered in a tadpole, right? It was properly covered. So there is no way the bees magically went in there. Somebody put them there. But it has nothing to do with black power. It has nothing to do with black magic. That's why I started off with the video that I showed you guys so that you would see exactly. If you're just joining me, it's best to go back and start the video, the live from the start. So you'll see the video I'm talking about. And I'm going to get back to that video so you can understand that there is nothing magical or voodoo-ish or black magic about, honeybees. Honeybees can be captured by professionals safely, and taken to where they want to take them. And, make sure they get the honey that they want out of these, beautiful bees. So it's nothing magical about that. But let me let my brother here, because he's going to share something. Let me let him say something and you guys will see what I'm talking about. I'm going to let brother Athor say something here.
The commentator that one. But on a serious note, you see how it is. Now two things me kind of in mind waiting there for me don't do. One, it's either we see them put a bus there, so the one we get with the driver, or the one that we get the load. If they no go pull that one day under, the bus no they move. That's not one. Number two, the order for me don't take fire. They can put some. I say they call the fire by borrow, so they can put some on that side. But again, which man sabi handle certain things again. The guy then has security. So how you plan for them? Now so they say they plan. Imagine then they stone them. Now so then they make box. They just they round the motuka and not all over that particular upside no monade then they apostle.
Hey! Hey! Hey, Africa! You know what I'm telling you? I make a member during the war. I see this video. As I see this video, so at the war, I remember. As I see this video, so at the war, I remember. I don't know if any of you get experience with the Tamaboro.
Remember the name?
Yeah. Tamaboro, the Limba defense, civil defense people. Then, one of the strategy always not only and get that strategy for release on it. So, for example, if there is an ambush na a particular.
So that's Brother Athor, and Brother Athor means well. And what he's trying to explain in this video is the fact that in Africa, people have been using honeybees. Some of them, the secret societies, they believe that you can use honeybees as a weapon, against others. So it's a belief that is there, and but it takes education. That's the only thing in Africa. It takes education, because over here nobody can use bees as a weapon and anybody believe that it has anything to do with magical powers or black voodoo and this and that. Yes, you can use honeybees to, of course, scare people. If you know how to collect them and how to handle them, you don't need no special powers. You just need to know how to handle honeybees. That's all it is. It takes training, for you to be able to handle them. But in Africa, yes, honeys are used, in the light of for devilish purposes, they believe they can use it superstitiously, to achieve their objectives and use it as a weapon against others. So, but I just want to say it's all about education at the end of the day. And that's why I decided to play, this video for you guys so you guys can see how honeys are safely handled. But the reason why I'm doing this, because I haven't done much live on the drug situation that is currently ongoing within West Africa. And the reason why I'm showing you this, and we haven't had confirmation, and I'm looking forward to have confirmation about that bus that you saw there, to know that yes, that bus was actually used, and what the honest, the bus was used to transport drugs. We don't know, because I don't know if they finally were able to get rid of the bees and search the bus to see if they could find any drug busts and stuff like that. If I have any updates on that, I'll come back and bring that into you. But for now, I just wanted to show you guys that yes, these bees can be handled. And the whole thing with the drug epidemic across West Africa, you guys, let me share a reporting that was done by Sky News. There are tons of reports that have been done. I have my brother Tyson Conte, who's based in Sierra Leone and does documentaries for BBC. He did powerful documentaries showing the devastating effects of the drugs on our brothers and sisters, back home in a town called Makeni, one of the biggest, cities in Sierra Leone. So, that's a documentary that is there. But what I want to show you, let me show you Sky News reporting because it covers a little bit more across the West African region, so you guys can see what I'm saying. I want you guys to check this out, okay?
Now, a drug is devastating lives all across West Africa, and the UK is thought to be one of its main importers. Kush is highly addictive, but also affordable, making it irresistible to people in poverty. Well, the drug has gripped communities across West Africa. Our Africa correspondent, Yusuf El-Bagir, has spoken to some at the centre of the crisis in Sierra Leone, and a warning. A report shows people suffering from malnutrition, which you may find distressing.
It's a temporary escape with a brutal come down.
Kush looks like marijuana, but can be 25 times stronger than fentanyl, making zombies out of men and women in Sierra Leone. This synthetic drug is creating an underworld in plain sight and rapidly spreading across West Africa.
Kush is such an issue here that there's even a drug den under this main road.
We're suffering, but all the thing we tell you now, we need help. All is it, we need help. We need help. Look at my condition.
So we're going to continue with this video, but I want you guys to see exactly what it is. This young lady is reporting, and this is from Sierra Leone. And I want you to see to what length, the drug smugglers are going just to protect their cargo. Because there is no other reason for somebody to, put those bees on those loads, coming from Guinea through Liberia to Sierra Leone. There is no other reason. There's nothing that they should be protected so much that they had to use honeys as soldiers, as security guards at the gate to protect their cargo. They are only doing that, and this is wide speculation. And across Africa, and for what a lot of us would believe, they are using the bees as soldiers. And that was something my brothers said in their video. But I want you guys to see this because so you can understand to what length these drug smugglers are going. And it becomes comical to a point where you see DEA agents are actually struggling to get rid of bees that are protecting goods that are coming through the border. As comical as that may sound, but I want you all to understand exactly, if you're not following what is happening, for you to know. I don't know where you're watching me from. In the comment section, make sure when you see this video, whenever you see it, just let me know what country you're watching us from, so I'll be able to tell that. But this is what is actually happening. So you see, the drug dealers are going to the extent of using bees as soldiers to guard their drugs that are coming through borders. But listen to this reporting because I want you to understand what's actually happening.
The conditions of the people here are as haunting as their home, a den of deprivation and disease. There's this shared sense of pain and entrapment, and everyone coming in and out is connected through their addiction to Kush. And they've all told us that they want to quit, but as long as they stay here, they'll never break free.
I'm a nobody who created 3 online courses in 2020.
Let's let the advertisement go through.
Elizabeth is 24 years old and pregnant with her second child, but can't bring herself to give up Kush as long as she stays here. Elizabeth, does it feel like a risk to smoke Kush while you're pregnant? Why are you taking the risk?
I keep smoking it because it makes me forget about my worries and challenges.
The numbness of the high has worn off, and she can't hold back her pain. These are not the fringes of Freetown, but a place for people of all ages, caught in the clutches of Kush.
This drug is evil. This drug is bad.
So I hope you're seeing this, because I want you guys to understand exactly what is actually happening across West Africa right now with this Kush drug. That's a synthetic drug that is killing our brothers and sisters, stripping them off of their liberties and their livelihoods, you know, destroying their souls, destroying their families. This is something that is across, you know, the nation. It is actually happening. It is taking away, you know, from the human capital, the human beings. Like in Sierra Leone, if this continues in another 2 to 3 years, we're gonna lose, probably would lose, if not 10 to 20% of the youthful population in that country. If this continues, the rates at which, you know, the addiction is going, the drug epidemic in the country, if it continues in about a year or two from now, we might lose 10% of young people between the ages of 14 up until probably in their 30s. We might lose 10 to 20% of those, the youthful population, the future of the country. You know, we would lose them if this continues. And that is why this is very important for us to come together and fight this. So when I saw, you know, of course, the video of you know, the border agent, you know, with the, you know, honeybees, you know, hiding, you know, that was in the cargo on the load on top of the bus. You know, I said, okay, let me do a couple of things here. One, educate and sensitize you about what is actually happening across the West African region with the drugs. Again, show the border agents in Liberia and, you know, and Guinea to know how to handle bees. They should be thinking about having professional bee handlers, you know, to come to their rescue and help them out. So let's continue with these videos so you guys can see what I'm saying, because I really want to use this opportunity to make sure that everybody understands where the problem lies. And so, in as much as you might be tempted to want to laugh about honeybees stuck to cargoes on top of a bus, I want you to understand that these drug dealers are going to all extents. They're going through, you know, and through on this to ensure that nobody, you know, can stop them from getting their drugs through the borders. But listen to this. I want you all to know that this is what the Liberian border agents need. If you're a Liberian, share this with Liberians. It has nothing to do with magical powers or superstition. They just need to have professional bee handlers. That is something they can work on now, so that if this is what they're going to continue doing, at least they have professional bee handlers on site to get rid of those bees, because it has nothing to do with magic or black magic or anything like that. Listen to this.
If the queen did not make it in, you will know within minutes. The workers will be drawn to the queen's pheromone and will move out of the box and back around her. If this is the case, wait until the majority of them cluster once more, then try again until they stay put. If the cluster is on a branch, shake the bees into a box. If the cluster is hanging from small branches or vegetation, you can use pruning shears to clip it off and then place that in the box with the rest of the bees. This tends to be a lot more gentle, but you will have to make sure you remove all of that vegetation from the full hive, the permanent hive, once you install them. If the cluster is on a fence, wall, mailbox, or other similar structure, you may want to lightly mist them with water. This makes it harder for them to fly. Brush them into the box with a quick downward motion. Try not to break up the cluster as much as possible. If the cluster is on the ground, place lemongrass oil in the box as a lure and tilt the box sideways to encourage them to move there on their own.
That's it. That's pretty much it.
You can even use a branch or plant to build a little bee bridge from the ground and into the box. Once most of the swarm is in the container, close the box, leaving a small gap for stragglers and returning scout bees to enter through. Leave the box in this position until sundown. Scout bees will be out looking for a new hive location until the end of the day. You do not want to leave confused stragglers and returning scout bees behind. That may upset the property owners. As a swarm catcher, you are the honeybee liaison to your community, so be as courteous as possible.
Guys, you see? So over here in this parts of the world, you know, we have bee handlers. That is what they do. They're professionals. And I'm sure we have them in Sierra Leone too. This has nothing to do with magical powers. But let me continue, because my brother was making a point here and I would like to share that with you. I don't want to take the moment away from him. Brother Arthur was talking about that. Let him share his views on what he thinks about the whole Beehive thing. So I'm going to continue playing that video so you guys can listen to him. Again, he's speaking Creole. It's a local language, but basically he's just explaining about his experiences of how people have been using bees because we believe, and a lot of Africans believe. Listen to this.
Then they can clear this ambush. They're not able for like a no side they give and all of the internet. They're not only and the man where they pull only where they produce only. They send on side only they come no side they come out. Only then they go and they make my like man they dumb. They grab. You only they pull you come on a door. They pull you come on a door, man.
So what Brother Arthur is explaining, and that's true too, during the Rebel War, it said certain, militia groups that were formed in Sierra Leone, they were using honeybees, or the military, soldiers, government troops were using honeybees to get the rebels to come out of their hiding. Because, once they disperse these bees, and of course, no matter how much you want to hide, those bees would get you out of your hiding. So they use the bees as a weapon to get the rebels out of their hiding. So they would know exactly where they are. And so they'll go after the rebels. And again, Sierra Leone had a brutal rebel war. Yes, we had a rebel war. That's what he's explaining. So yes, they use bees in those kinds of ways. That's what that is. But I really wanted to let you all know that the whole thing with the bee and is bigger than just you seeing the bees. It is the drug epidemic that is currently ravaging West Africa and is devastating consequences on the lives of our school children. I'm telling you, even school-going kids are affected by the proliferation of drugs across West Africa. And we have to take this very seriously to ensure that that nonsense stops. So I want you to listen. I want you to see a little bit of the effects, just in case you've not been tracking this, to see the effects of the drug, usage on our brothers and sisters. I want you to listen to this reporting again from the BBC. Listen to our sister here reporting from the BBC.
There's this shared sense of pain and entrapment, and everyone coming in and out is connected through their addiction to Kush. And they've all told us that they want to quit, but as long as they stay here, they'll never break free. Elizabeth is 24 years old and pregnant with her second child, but can't bring herself to give up Kush as long as she stays here. Elizabeth, does it feel like a risk to smoke Kush while you're pregnant? Why are you taking the risk?
I keep smoking it because it makes me forget about my worries and challenges.
The numbness of the high has worn off, and she can't hold back her pain. These are not the fringes of Freetown, but a place for people of all ages, caught in the clutches of Kush.
This drug is evil. This drug is bad. I don't know why they...
This is the reality. This is what is actually happening to the young people in Sierra Leone. This is their reality. The drug epidemic that has taken over.
This drug brings destruction. Look at me. Just because of this drug, I have sores on my feet.
There's a shelter among shacks for teenagers like Ibrahim, whose Kush-induced sores have eaten away at their limbs. Some are paralyzed by infection and malnutrition, lying in corners where others have died before. The rest are debilitated.
Does it hurt? Abu Bakr is only 14 years old and was handed his first Kush joint at 12. He's been fighting for his life ever since. When was the last time you walked?
Long time.
Their limbs are literally ravaged by this. They've got these huge open sores that they have to keep washing with disinfectant. They can't even walk, and yet they're still scrambling to get cash to buy more Kush to smoke. Are they still smoking Kush?
Yeah, I hope so they still smoke.
Even with all this pain? And
all this pain wouldn't get out, and still smoke.
It's a prison with an open door. The drug is destroying everything they need to survive.
This is terrible, man. So this is what is happening. That's why I really wanted to share with you guys. When I saw that reporting from our brothers at Riyadh, I said, I'm just going to take this a step further to let folks know that, hey, These bees can be handled, by professional bee handlers, and it's no secret, it's no magic. There are professionals that can handle that in no time. I saw a video that I love very much that I would like to share with you guys as well, and it's a professional bee handler, how you move, just like the one that I showed you with the lady. I want you guys to see this as well so you can understand that those bees can be handled. Yes. So I'm letting you know that, one, these drug smugglers are going to extra length to get their smuggle through, and they are using bees as security guards now for those drugs that they're trying to pass through, because it's nothing else that'll be protecting other than drugs that they're trying to protect to smuggle through the borders. So this one came from Guinea, going through Liberia, heading for Sierra Leone. We don't, it's sad, but I want you guys to see to what extent these guys are going just to get these drugs through the borders. You've seen the effect it has on the kids. But again, the Liberian border agents, I just want to share with them, for them to know that, they should have called professionals. I don't know how they ended up getting those bees out of there, but take a look at this. Let's watch this video together so you guys can see what I'm saying.
Hello. So we've been called out to a swarm, and it's a really nice easy one. It's hanging in the bush here, and we've got to collect this and take it away. If we leave it to do its own thing, chances are it'll either go somewhere really inconvenient, or with the weather, if it starts to rain, that will cause it real problems. So what we're going to do, they're really at their most docile when they're like this, but I'm still going to need to put a bee suit on.
I don't know if you guys got that. You see, this man is a professional bee swarm handler. So basically, they care so much about the bees because they know if the bees are hanging out there and it rains, it's going to affect them, because when they get wet, they can't fly. So this is the society. But in Africa, we think we can use them for other things, magic, superstitious stuff, or now they're using them to protect drugs that they're trying to get through borders across the nation. People think that, but I want the education to be there for African people to know that to handle those bees, you don't need a catapult, you don't need a sling, or a catapulter, to be able to. No, professional handlers can get on that bus and get those bees out of there like nothing. And that's why I want you to see videos like this, so you'd have that education. So pass it on to your Liberian DEA agents for them to see stuff like this, and maybe they can employ professional bee handlers that could be of staff. Every 8 hours, every 8 hours, they have professional beehive, bee swamp, handlers that could be there. So in case this is going to be the modus operandi of the drug smugglers, now they have professional bee handlers that's going to be getting these bees out like in no time. Have a professional suit. Let's watch this. Watch this.
We'll pop over to the truck. We'll get the kit ready, pop the bee suit on, and we'll show you how we collect a swarm. So we need a few bits of kit to be able to collect the swarm. Nothing terribly exciting. One of the main things I need is a cardboard box. This is an ideal size cardboard box. So we need that to collect them. And then we need, just very simply, a pair of secateurs. There's a queen. If I get the queen into the box, everything else will follow. I'm not going to mess about trying to find her. All I've got to do is knock the whole swarm into the box. If I can, I might cut off the branch, but here it's quite a nice little thorn bush, so I'm just going to try and shake them into the box, and then hopefully the queen will be in there, and I'll show you in a minute how we can find out if she is, and then all should be well. So I'm just going to put my hood up now and shake the bees in. So here we go. Box underneath. Get a hold of the bush, give it a really good shake, all the bees in. I'm going to pop my queen excluder over the top like that, and then what I'm going to do is turn my box upside down like this. There we go. And then I'm just going to prop it open with a stick. And
but that's what it is, guys. This is how you safely handle these bees. And you see how, I'm going to show you how magical it is when this man is going to transport the bees, to his hive that he built for them. I want you guys to see all of this. Again, I'm coming back to that boss with the beehives on top of them, but I want you all to see this and know that this is how you handle bees for the Liberian border agents, okay? This is how you handle bees. So let's watch this.
Small business
This is
owner,
a
let
very
your bill
powerful
pay
point, and I
work
want
for
you to
your
see this. All right.
Here are all my bees. Turn them upside down. Give them a good knock on the head. So here they go. And you can see the bees are walking uphill. And you can see they're naturally just walking to the hive. Here they go. And I can watch them walking in as they go. And they're doing this entirely naturally. This is exactly what they would do normally. I haven't put anything in the hive. There's no attractant in there or anything like that. There's just some empty frames. And you can see they're going in. Now I can keep my eye open for the queen. It's unlikely I'm going to see her in there, but I can keep my eye open. If she was marked, then I'd be able to see her. And because I can't see her, this encourages me. I know it's not one of mine because all my queens are marked, but they're also clipped, so it shouldn't be one of my queens, but you never quite know. And there you can see, good as gold, they're all walking in. And this will take a little while now.
That is amazing.
Normally a good time.
The science of the bees.
Maybe even a bit of cake if you've got one going, but tonight I haven't. So gonna have to do without the cake tonight. And instead I can just watch this absolute miracle of the bees walking.
It's a miracle.
Alive. In fact, these are almost running in. This is not a huge swarm. It's a sort of medium-sized swarm, but still very gratifying to think that.
But yeah, guys, this is what is happening. So the guy moved the bees from the beehive, the swarm where they are, and then he's moving them into his own beehive place, you know, so that, of course, they can make some honey for him. So this is the science of the bees. But I want to take you back, guys, if you're just joining me. I want you all to see, you know, this video from our brothers here that they shared with us on how these bees magically appeared on this bus. I want you guys to see this, okay?
Bees, as you can see, they follow me around. So they come to Bowater South put our entrance in Grand Cayman County. I think you're seeing the honey being clear now. You see? A honey being on a vehicle, a bus came from Guinea. You see the bus? I think you can see from distance there, so the small cycle, the small black one, on that white bag. This is the bus that came from Guinea. See? They came along with a honey bean. You see the vehicle?
So
this is the bus.
That's on that, right? You guys have seen, you know, the bees, you know, on the bus.
It's a wonder.
Again, because these smugglers are protecting their loot, you know. So what the Liberian agents were trying to do? They were trying to use sling, you know, to get the bees off of the bus. You know, instead of finding a professional bee handler to get those bees out of there, it wouldn't take more than 5 minutes. They'll be out of there, because they just have to make sure the queen of the swamp, you know, is in that box, and they'll just shake all of them into that box. And that's the end of that. There's no juju, no magic, no superstitious belief that is going to stop that process, because nobody can control the bees using superstition. It's a lie. It's the basic science of just actually knowing how to handle the bees. That's all it was. You know, so you see the Liberian border agents.
You see? Trying to chakra, you see the security?
He said, try to chakra.
Using a rubber bomb to chakra.
Chakra means to agitate the bees. That's what the guy is saying.
Look at it. It's still roaming around the bus. It's still roaming around the bus. You see the security?
Look at the security guy trying to use the sling.
Fighting to remove it. You see the joint security?
So I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say now. I hope you see the idea of what I'm trying to pass on. You know, it shouldn't, Africa, man, we have a long way to go. But it shouldn't be, you know, a thing where we have to, you know, have to use sling to get the bees. All we have to do is get professional handlers that can get those out.
Nightfall,
look at this.
Close up the box, secure it with tape entirely, or put the whole box in a mesh swarm bag. Transport the swarm as gently as possible and place them in a safe location overnight. Be sure they have an opening for air and to start coming and going as soon as the sun rises. If you captured your swarm box in a nuke box, simply staple screen over the opening before transport or use a mesh bag. Remember to remove both once you have your nuke settled in your yard. Allow your bees to begin utilizing the nuke and comb for a few days. Then transfer the comb into their permanent hive. If you captured the swarm in a box or enclosure without frames or top bars, you will want to install them in your hive the following morning. To do this, simply shake the bees into the hive.
That's it.
Then move the frames or top bars back in place. Close up the hive and prop the swarm catching box or enclosure near the entrance of the hive to allow stragglers to find their way in. Some beekeepers are lucky enough to bait and trap swarms. When scout bees find a suitable nesting site, they return to the swarm cluster and then direct the rest.
So that's what I wanted to share, guys. But I wanted to let you all know also that when you look across West Africa, we've seen the report from Sky News and the devastating effect of the drug, the Kush epidemic that it has had across West Africa. And like I told you all, a friend of mine, Brother Tyson Conte, who does BBC documentaries, actually reported on the effect, of this Kush, in Sierra Leone on the young people, and it's terrible. It's terrible. And this is the documentary I'm talking about. I'm going to share with you all, so you guys can see what I'm saying. Brother Tyson Conte has been, trying to call our attention to this epidemic for a very long time, and it's sad that it's. I don't want to go certain areas with this conversation today, but let's watch this. Let's watch this, guys.
A new illegal drug high taking my country's.
And mind you, this publication was this was 3 years ago. This documentary was 3 years ago when Brother Tyson Conte did this. So watch this. This is Sierra Leone. Watch this.
Kush.
Draw one. Outside the OPD,
a new illegal drug high taking my country's youth to a dark place. Everyone sleeping here is on Kush. Everyone, the young generation.
This was 3 years ago. Remember that.
I know the bad word.
But there are so many laws. Young people driven mad. Young people killing themselves. Young people harming themselves.
Exactly. You see how dangerous the drug has been? This is what is actually happening. This was 3 years ago. It has gotten so worse now. Government fails their people.
Against this drug.
So
this month we are going to say no to it.
They've been doing these stuff. People like these principled, innocent bystanders.
Kush spreading like wildfire, with ever younger users being exposed to it. How can my country win the war against this drug?
Yeah, BBCI has been sending, the word out there, but people like Brother Tyson and them, have been doing documentaries, to expose this drug in Sierra Leone. To expose the advent of this drug in Sierra Leone. Young women selling themselves off as prostitutes, whilst they're taking these drugs. They're selling themselves off as prostitutes because they know any better. Look at this young lady. Let's listen to this young lady's situation. Let's listen to her. I want you to listen to this part, and Tyson is going to explain it. Listen to this. This is how dangerous this drug is. It's affecting women, children, men, boys, everybody, especially in Sierra Leone today. Probably 30 or 40% of the population is exposed, if not more than 50% of the population is exposed to this Kush epidemic. Listen to this story of this young lady, how she can sleep with how many men in a night because of Kush.
Yana waiting. Eh? For make money.
Yana sawa the for make money, yeah. When they go the family, they smoke first. Why they smoke? I they dry I know I shouldn't body. I like self on about put say I they brush on all. I go send me the go.
As with Olamed, Aisha says Kush takes her to a happier place.
I don't get so nice. I know the bad word. The Kush is so bad.
But a Kush high is only a brief state of mind. Smoking it can come at a price, a deadly price.
I feel sweet, I enjoy
Exactly.
the games, the games, meditate.
But don't know any of you company we don't die being broke.
Oh man, she has lost a lot of friends.
But if they take drugs.
Yeah.
She has lost a lot of friends.
Yes.
How in that?
Effie. Effie. Yeah, my name Effie. The Kush, yeah. The Kush. In the drink rum, in the papa smack. You know they eat. No that next day. What go inside? Go was here. I know they say take a life.
So this is the reality of what is actually happening. So I hope the video that I shared with you all is now making sense, that was shared by our brothers at We Yard, on how these drug dealers are now using bees as soldiers to protect their drug cargoes going through borders. I hope this makes sense to you now as you're watching this to see exactly what it is. Listen to this.
So you can be checked, but stay with me around the car. You see? It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. That is the reality of what is actually happening. Look at the bees. So it is an easy way to get these bees off. It shouldn't even take more than 5 minutes. All they need is a bee handler who knows what they're doing. It is nothing magical. It is no superstition. It is nothing like that. People without suits should just vacate the premises, and the bee handlers go in there and get those bees out.